Skill drain. You like it, we like it, everyone likes it, right? Wrong. Let's be honest with ourselves. No one likes skill drain. It's a unfair card, and it's a floodgate. No one likes floodgates in Yu-Gi-Oh! And so Konami decided to say, hey, what if we put 2 skill drains on the field? Not just 1, not just 2, but 2 that are immediately activated at the very beginning of the game. And you can't do anything about that. That just happens. Yeah, welcome to the Duel trial. This was an event that Konami decided to make. And I'm going to talk about it because it's very, very silly. First and foremost, here's the deck that I'm playing. Of course, it's Labyrinth. I don't want to play the game. No one wants to play the game. Here's the list. It's very silly. Don't worry about it too much. I don't know why, specifically, I'm playing all of these cards. I just kind of threw something together because I didn't want to think. And honestly, reasonable. Now, I'm going to show you some of the gameplay, and the gameplay, there's a little bit that happens, but let's be honest, not much actually occurs. It's very simple, and it's very boring. Yeah. Let's move on. Let me just show you the replays real quick. Alright, so here we are. Starting off with skill drain. You'll love to see it. I'm lying to you. So I gotta go first. So I'm gonna set 2, and I'm gonna pass the turn. Fantastic. Woo! Hooray! My opponent is then going to go, and they are going to reveal they are on Cleefort. Oh, by the way, Gold Golgonda. I'm going to maxi here because I'm sure that they're going to pen summon. They're going to search out the sacrifice. I'm like, cool. They're going to pen summon out their whole board and then go sacrifice. And then, you know, now it's 31. So, you know, it's big. They're going to attack and do this in the incorrect order because now I got to go for the Welcome Labyrinth, grab up the lady, and then special summon the lady. And I don't know why they attacked with the highest attack point first. Come on, attack in Gore's order. You should know this. Anyway, so I got to just slap that down and now we're good. I'm going to normal summon here the Coup Clock and go into Link Karibo because it actually does something, and just set the destructive Daruma Karma Cannon and pass the turn. And then, you know, maybe we'll do something. Who knows? Maybe we won't. My opponent's going to continue searching cards and doing stuff. It's not going to amount to anything, but, you know, they are. They're going to do stuff. Out comes the Cleefort Carrier. They're going to activate, in effect, as if it's going to do anything. Like, yeah. Anyway, tribute summon the carrier. They're gonna pop. Okay, I don't know what they're doing here. They can pop a spell trap card on the field, right? It's just cards attributed, target a spell trap on the field, destroy it. They could have targeted anything, like, you know, one of my back row. But they're just like, nah, I'm just not. They go for the shell here. I'm gonna go for the Link Karibo, and then I'm gonna activate the effect of the Daruma Cannon because it's funny. I'm gonna chain the lady, and then lady is also going to be bounced with the big welcome so that I can get another thing into rotation. And my opponent just concedes there because this event is not worth thinking about. They're just like, well, I didn't get the OTK, so I'm gonna just get out of here and just play another game because honestly, yeah, fair. Now, honestly, with trial duels, I'm fine with them kind of doing loosey-goosey rulings. But this has to be just one of the most boring ones. If you already have the card face up on the field, it's super boring. It's one thing if it's like, oh, cool, both players start with a skill drain set, and then maybe on, like, turn 2, like it's been set that turn, and then maybe on turn 2, you could potentially flip it up, or if something else were to happen, like maybe one skill drain is on the field, right, that you could potentially pop. Like, whoever starts gets the skill drain, and then you can destroy it, and then it becomes a thing. But no, they're just like, yeah, 2 skill drains, it's fine. My opponent is playing Generator, which is going to be very funny. Because in theory, this does stuff. In practice, I don't know what this deck does. I genuinely am struggling to think about that. Anyway, I'm going to banish their monster due to the effect of, well, itself. So we big welcome that away to grab back our 2 guys. We're going to grab the Chandelier. We're also going to grab the Stovey Torby. And we're going to go from there. Activate the effect of the Stovey Torby, pitching the Chandelier. I set the field spell because it's important. And since I already have the Ash Blossom to just stop this, I'm like, it's fine. They simply don't have the Called By Trust. And then, of course, they actually don't. But it's basically Called By. So they activate the boss room, and I'm like, tragic. So they pitch a card, and I'm like, okay, cool, well, I drew the maxi for turn, so who cares? And my opponent then concedes. At the very least, with the Nibiru tryouts duel, it kind of made sense to play around Nibiru. You could still play combo decks, you could still play this, that, or the other thing. You just had that perfect knowledge, like, oh hey, my opponent has Nibiru. This is literally just, you know, hey, what if we just didn't play the game? What if we just didn't play half of the game? Because we all just knew, collectively, that skill drain was going to be on the field. And it really does just kind of make it, oh, you went first? Cool, you win the game. It's really not very fun. Yeah, I don't know. This one was a weird idea. I wouldn't even say it's, like, executed poorly. I think it's just wrong. I think they just did it wrong. Anyway, I draw Eradicator, which is funny. So we're going to go to the battle phase. We're going to attack. They don't do anything. Great. I'm going to flip up my card. I'm going to go for the Coup Clock here. I activate the effect of the Coup Clock. And then I just Eradicated them. I'm like, cool. I'm going to get rid of all of your traps because I'm scared of them. And then they have the called. They have Extrav called by Ash. And I'm like, cool. Well, I guess I'm doing nothing this game. And, yeah, so, you know, there's that. I'm going to special summon. Here, I special summon out at the Chandelier. Now, notably, my opponent is playing Subterror, so there's that. But I grab Chandelier here because I'm like, well, I do kind of need to actually, like, be able to do something. I'm stupid. I should have immediately grabbed Lady Labyrinth. This is the biggest mistake that I make because my opponent draws 1,600 attack points. That's right, baby. Oh, tragic. I go for the Welcome Labyrinth, and of course my opponent's just going to Ash that because, of course they are. Tragic. I know. Anyway, this game was, like, even remotely interesting. This was, like, the only game that I played that was even kind of interesting. And reminder, I eradicated my opponent. Okay, remember that. I just pass here because I'm like, well, I might need to use something for the Stovey They might get something to, like, beat over the Stovey And then I remembered Called By was in the back row, and I was like, I should have just set this. Saved my life points. I'm stupid. Anyway, they drew a second Guru, which was very funny. I draw a Coup Clock, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't really do anything. I'm just going to set this, pass, and hope that they don't have anything that they can play into. They have 9 cards in there, right? You know, they draw Maxi as well. Like, oh, okay, sure, yeah. Maxi's still around, you know. But I'm not going to lie. Playing both the most recent event as well as this one, the dual triangle as well as this one, has just shown me how absolutely stupidly absurd Called By is. So my opponent goes for the Hidden City, and I'm like, okay, that's frustrating. But they go for the Called By on my Ash Blossom. I'm like, okay, at the very least, I can resolve the Stovey. I'm like, that's fine. Let it resolve. We grab the Big Welcome. We have something we can do. We can do stuff. We can do stuff. Except we can't because of the card that they're searching, which is Fiendess. If you don't know what Fiendess does, let me quickly explain it to you. When your opponent activates a card, no. Fiendess is cool. It's a really cool card. It's really fun and engaging and interesting, and not at all. I'm lying to you. Ugh. I just had the Coup Clock to the hand here. Now, this may seem weird, but I'm like, well, I'm not dead, and I really don't want to give them a draw, because if they draw into another Fiendess, I do, in fact, die. And then I was like, I'll just draw something useful, and then I didn't. And I was like, well, okay, I guess I lose. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, wait, no. I don't lose. I actually do just win the game here. So, my opponent flips down their monster, but negates my effect. I'm like, that's really frustrating. I'm just going to normal summon the Coup Clock here. Now, that may seem weird, but Big Welcome does have a secondary effect, which basically allows me to bounce my monster, which then brings back Stovey. This guy comes back onto the field, and Chandelier gets put into the hand, as well as Welcome Labyrinth gets put onto the field. So I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. And then my opponent activates Deck Lockdown, because they're a fun and engaging player. They go to the battle phase, I'm like, cool. Anyway, bounce the Coup Clock, special summon the Stovey, activate the Welcome Labyrinth, which isn't going to do anything, and go for the Chandelier. Cool. This is turn 11, by the way. I hate it here. I want to get out, but I can't. I'm stuck. I'm locked in. Help. Anyway, out comes the Stovey. They're just going to pass the turn. I'm like, cool. I'm going to activate my Coup Clock here. I'm going to activate my Chandelier. I'm going to pitch 2. I'm going to go for the Big Welcome. I'm going to special summon back the Coup Clock. And now you might be wondering, why did I not activate the effect of, like, Big Welcome or, like, Or not big welcome labyrinth. Because I can't. Because of this thing. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. At this point, the game is over because I bring back my big lady, and then he's just like, oh no, I can't do anything, because why, it's a skill drain event. Why would you play Subterror? Subterror actually does need their effects. Yes, they can play other floodgates, but they need their effects. Anyway, cool, good game. This event was silly. I don't really have anything else to say. It's not worth the 1 pack. I know you have already done this. I know you've already played this event. You've already gotten that 1 pack. But let me just, if you were thinking about playing it, if you haven't quite yet, and you're thinking about playing it, let me just tell you, don't do it. Most of the duel trials I'm fine with. They're like okay, or like whatever. Maybe they're not the most fun, but you only have to play 3 games, and like for those 3 games, that novelty doesn't really wear off, so it's kind of okay. This one, on the first turn of the first game, it was not fun. Now, I'm a big believer that Skill Drain is a fair card. Genuinely. Now, I hear what you're saying. What are you talking about? No shot you believe that. Skill Drain's not fair. It shuts down half of the architect, or half of the decks. It's really overpowered. It does yada yada. Here's the thing. There are so few decks that can utilize Skill Drain, and there are so many outs to Skill Drain. Genuinely. And while, yes, it does shut down monster effects, you can even utilize monster effects on the field to still deal with it. Because you can Book of Moon, you can bounce a card, you can send it to the graveyard, and you can do a whole myriad of things to still negate or destroy or interact with Skill Drain, right? So to me, it's fair. Is it fun? Not necessarily, but I think it's fair, right? As opposed to all of the things that like stop summoning and all of that stuff. Like, imagine if this event was like Rivalry. You know? Oh, every player has Rivalry on their field. That event would suck. That'd be so boring. It's like, great, I guess I'm just playing Fire. Or, oh, great, I guess I'm just playing Darks. Hooray. I think I'm getting that right? Rivalry's the attribute one? Anyway, who cares? It's like, that's not enjoyable. That's not fun. No one likes that. Those are boring. You can't do anything interesting. Maybe in theory, like, deck building is kind of interesting, but not really. This is just really silly and not very enjoyable. So don't play it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope that you guys did enjoy it. If you did, like, it's very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, subscribe. Do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.